fan, I could be got on compromat so easily. Send me a new car. I'll say great things about the regime. No one has come to me. Not even someone selling dick pills or nothing. I want to get to that level.
It's coming.
It's I don't see.
Come on, bro. More appearances like this, and it'll all happen.
I'll be doing I'll be doing DraftKings.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think I could. I'm trying to figure out what companies I would have on my podcast and wouldn't. But
do you gamble at all?
Yeah, but I don't like the companies. I like,
regular gambling.
I'll bet you money for this. It's ruined footy in Australia. Everybody
has it?
I think I will be right on this. Australia's the highest per capita gambling losses in the world.
Wow.
And we beat Singapore. We shouldn't be beating the Asian countries. Asians should have gambling down pat.
Is that because you don't have freedom in any other place, so you went crazy?
I think so. I think everything is so safe that it's like, I've got to lose everything on this.
You go crazy on that one thing, gambling thing.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Because booze is expensive But then the way that they advertise on you always have to see the line. You can't watch a game of football with someone because they don't just want their team to win anymore. They want like this guy to get 27 disposals and the second goal of the game. It's like I want to watch footy. But gambling is very exciting.
Yeah, there's a thing like that in MMA too. It's a big factor in MMA.
I think like if your guy gets, he wins but by submission, then you're upset because he didn't knock the other guy out and you lost money.
There's like the Drake thing too, because Drake he bets like
the rapper Drake
big money on the UFC. And did he bet on Charles Oliveira or Ilia Topuria?
That was nutty.
Oh my god!
I wish that. Also, it was that was the first one of those I've watched since I met you.
Bet $200,000 on Charles.
Yeah, see, they call it the Drake curse.
Yeah, there's a website that
whoever he bets on goes down.
Yeah, Drake's UFC betting history returned $0. Who is he?
Well, he's not cursed when it comes to UFC overall, though. He's up $1 million.
Oh, all time from his public
bets.
UFC bets, from his public ones. Over 25 bets, he's wagered $13.45 million, returning 14.48.
Yeah, but everyone knows
he's won
that guy.
10 out of those 25 bets, losing 15 times.
You go public when you win.
Interesting.
It's a guy who comes back to the office on Monday and goes,
but look at that. He's only
horses.
won 40% of the time. His average UFC bet size is $538K. That's interesting, though, because he's only won 40% of the time. He just bets big when he's sure. And so he's ahead. His biggest single loss was Adesanya to beat Alex Pereira in 22, the one that Pereira won. The first one. Single bet victory was John Jones over Cyril Gahn, successfully predicting John Jones to win by submission. Interesting.
Hold on, but this is a whole website dedicated to it. He could have set this up.
No, it's commonly known.
He's betting on cricket.
Yeah.
Why is he betting on cricket?
He likes to bet, dude. He's rich as fuck.
He's betting on
he gets his jollies off, like throwing large numbers
He
and
made
stuff.
3 bets on cricket, returning $2.65 million.
So he's ahead.
3 for 3.
So he knows what he's doing.
There you go.
He's making money.
Yeah, but you always bet on the Royals in the cricket. No,
well, if you're going to bet, though, betting on sports where you actually know the game, that's a smart thing to bet on. Like, I bet if I bet on fighting, I bet I'd be right 60% of the time.
You'd have a deal where they'd say, "Don't you dare."
Oh no, you can't.
Yeah.
The UFC won't let you. But that was only recent, man. That was recent because there was an accusation that one of the trainers had been posting on some website and that they knew that this guy was injured.
Yeah.
And the guy lost in the first round, and there's a bunch of money on him losing in the first round because he had a blown-out knee.
I think there was a footy player in Australia who was betting on himself to kick goals, which was like, not like you have to, he was backing himself, and it was like $15 or something. It was very small. But he got
in trouble for that?
He got in trouble for that. Even though
he's betting on himself.
He's betting on himself to do well.
I think if you bet on yourself to win, that should be legal.
It seems I bet on the Eurovision Song Contest. That's my go-to.
Fighters have made like personal bets with each other. Like I'll bet you the entire
that's
purse.
fun.
Yeah, that's what makes it more exciting.
Yeah. But there's definitely room for if there's room for someone to throw it, that's an issue.
That is an issue. That's an issue with fights.
Eurovision is a good bet.
If you found out that a fighter bet against himself, like oh god, or if the trainer bet against the fighter, which has happened before. That has happened before. It was like anonymous back in the day, like in the old boxing days. Like people could throw fights, and that shit happened all the time.
Was it on the waterfront? That's why.
Yep. Marlon Brando. Yeah, that also that is 100% happened in MMA, especially in Japan. In Japan, in the early days, there was a lot of fixed fights, and you could kind of tell some of them. You watch them, you're like, oh my god, it's fixed. But it was to be like because a lot of the Japanese stars originally in Pride came from the world of pro wrestling,
Yes.
where they had determined outcomes.
Yeah.
And so some of these guys were stars, and there's a few fights that they had as stars where it was a fixed fight.
But like that Logan Paul Mike Tyson fight,
Yeah.
he could have knocked him out earlier and clearly was choosing not to. I mean, he bows to him at the end.
It seemed to me like sparring
Yeah.
when I watched it, which, look, I paid for it. They got me. I thought it was going to be a real fight, but I'm not mad because I'm just happy that Mike Tyson made a ton of money.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for Jake Paul that he made it. And look, if he decided not to try to hurt Mike Tyson at 58 years old,
Sure. But there's some guy out there who had
Yeah,
$1 million on
that's the
Paul
problem.
to- yeah.
That's why, look, maybe it was a real fight. Maybe that's just the level that they both fight at. But it didn't, it seemed a little sus,
It was. I mean, also
seemed a
we
little
watched that
sus.
in the green room, I think, and we couldn't get
Yep.
it. Couldn't get it going.
Yeah, but I think that at the end of the day, it's okay. It doesn't bother me. It's that's a different situation than someone like Terrence Crawford fighting Canelo Alvarez, and I don't think that fight's legit. If I saw that and I didn't think it was legit, I'd be furious.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are in your prime. These are the best fighters on planet Earth. We're finally going to get to see you guys box,
And then
and you threw a fight. But that's not what's going on, Mike Tyson, Jake Paul was the most heavily wagered fight in years.
Yeah,
Okay,
believe
that's
it.
a problem. That makes it a problem. My opinion is, I just want to say, in case someone calls me into court, I'm a fucking idiot, and I don't know nothing. And don't take my advice.
I love the Saudis.
Don't take my opinion.
I love the Israeli government. I love
That
everybody.
had nothing to do with them. That was Jake Paul promoting it. It's just
It's- but
doesn't bother me.
There's compromising the sport, and that's like bad. It's just like
If I bet on it, it bothers
watching
the
it
fuck
is
out
hard.
of me.
Watching it with
Yeah.
people who are so in on it, and then also man, the sports betting apps they introduced like chat apps in them in Australia. So it's like
Yeah.
they're trying to take the place of social media companies where you go together and you meet your friends. Like betting should be exciting enough without having a weird.
They're just trying to draw you
parasocial
in.
thing.
They're just trying to make money, right? So they're trying to draw you in any way they can.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was first starting to work for the UFC, I bet a bunch of times because, and then I thought like I probably shouldn't do this, but I couldn't. I was justifying in my head. I was like, I can't affect the outcome.
Yeah.
And there was no rule.
It doesn't matter how you're calling it. It's not gonna.
I'm not going to change. And also, like, I like the fights, and I'm not going to bet that much anyway. But then my business partner on it and I, Aubrey, he would bet on things I would tell him to bet on. He was up like 80% at one time.
Yeah.
Because in the early days, like in the early like 2000s-ish, when they were bringing in guys from like Japan and Russia, there was a lot of dudes that I knew about that the bookmakers didn't know about.
Yeah.
Like where like when Anderson Silva came over to America, I was like, bet the house.
Yeah.
Bet everything on Anderson. I mean, bet everything. Because Chris Lieben, who's a great fighter, is tailor-made for that style, and Anderson is one of the nastiest strikers that's ever competed in the sport. He's so good and so accurate, and he just ran through Chris Lieben in the first round. I was like, called it. Because there's certain fights where you go like, this guy's special. Like Ilia Topuria. Like if Ilia Topuria is fighting a regular guy, like bet the house
Yeah.
on the Spaniard. Bet the house. Like that guy's special. There's like when Alex Pereira first came to the UFC, I was telling everybody, bet the house on the Brazilian. I'm like, if he touches you, you go into orbit.
Yeah.
Like he's just different. This is a different guy.
And you just have to know about that before the bookies.
Yeah,
and then you can.
Yeah, but people knew about Pereira sort of, but they didn't have a lot of evidence of him being that good in MMA. They had one fight in the LFA. There was another fight before that where he lost by submission. I think maybe he had one other win. But it was the kickboxing. So I'm a big kickboxing fan. And in kickboxing, he was a 2-division world champion in Glory, which is like the elite kickboxing league. But the thing wasn't that he was winning. It was how he was winning.
Yeah.
He was flatlining people.
But you have to have actually watched the fight to get that.
You'd have to watch. You have to also be able to critically analyze his movements. They're just different. He's just doing something. He moves different than people. And the way when he hits guys, it's like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
They can all knock each other out. They're all elite fighters.
I mean, I watched that Oliveira fight, and so we were with Nate's team in San Jose. Someone says, this man's the man who knocked him out. He's like, his punch is incredible. No one knows this. Like, they were all saying, like, this is an easy, and Oliveira's going to lose because of this man's. And then when he hits him in the head, you go, because he knocks him out on the first punch and then catches him on the second and hits him twice after that. But it's like, if you just, I don't know about fighting, and then watching that, I couldn't believe he was knocked out from, it didn't look like it should have had that impact.
Oh, it should, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, when you watch the punch being delivered in slow motion, it looks everything like a knockout punch. He throws his punches with so much conviction. There's so much torque, and they're so perfect.
Like his whole body
Yes.
weight is coming in.
It's the coordination of the mechanics of his movements. It's like that's a big part of. He also has very big fists, but that's a big part, especially for 145 and even in 155. Like he's undersized compared to like guys like Rufy, who's like 6'2". There's like some elite guys that are big in that weight class, but the way he delivers his punches, it's like you just can't get hit by him, man.
Yeah.
He's got so much commitment, and so the timing is so perfect. When he went blam with that right hand,
Yeah.
that had everything on it. No one's eaten that shot. No one. He's got what Firas Zahabi likes to call the touch of death. It's the perfect name for it. It's because like he hits guys, they're just done, man. They're done.
That seems
He's got the
spooky.
greatest 3-fight win streak in the history of the sport. He knocks out Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and then Charles Oliveira. It's the
Yeah.
greatest 3-fight win streak in the history of the sport.
And Volkanovski's currently the champ. So
He is now.
They'll
He is
have to
now.
do a-
He came back. But that's at 45, though.
Okay.
So he went up to 55. So Volkanovski's the champ because he abandoned the belt at 45 because he wanted to pursue the belt at 55. He didn't want to make weight at Ilya. Didn't want to make 145 anymore. So it felt like it's too draining
Yeah.
for his body, and he'd be even better at 55. Turns out he was right. He's even better at 55. Like, Charles Oliveira's really good, man.
Yeah.
Really good. For
That
him
was-
to starch him like that with essentially one punch is extraordinary. But he called it, which is even crazier.
He said, I'm going to knock him out with
He's
one
going
punch.
to knock him out in the first round. And he had a celebration for his victory the night before the fight. So they went to a restaurant. He's standing on a bench. They're cheering.
That is
Hey.
cool.
It worked.
Oh.
I mean, listen, if you're that good.
And he's going to fight the Scouser? The Scouser kept saying,
Yeah,
Scouser kept going, I want him. And then Nate's team were going like, he thinks he wants him. He doesn't want him.
it'll probably
wants
happen eventually because they hate each other, and it'd be very marketable. I don't know if it's going to happen next.
This is my first
There's
year of
talk.
following it. I'm starting that. My brother watches it a lot.
There's
And
a
he-
lot of really good guys at 155 though. If you wanted to do it according to like who deserves the shot, it would be, in my mind, it would be either Justin Gaethje, who is a very compelling argument for deserving the shot. He was the interim champion, beat the shit. He essentially like changed the progression of Tony Ferguson's career. Like that one
Just by knocking him out.
just beat him down, man.
Yeah.
It was a brutal fight. And then, I mean, he's got so many victories. He just beat Fiziev again after getting knocked out by Holloway. He's one of the best of the best. And, he's fought for the title before. He fought Khabib. Like, he's fucking really good, man.
But what would stop
And
him?
he's a big star, and he also deserves it. The other guy would be Arman Sarukian. Arman Sarukian was supposed to fight Islam for the title, but got a back injury, supposedly because of the weight cut. He had a particularly brutal weight cut, and his back locked up to the point where he couldn't even fucking move. And so they had to call the fight.
Yeah.
And so then they brought in Hanato Moicano, and he fought for the title, like last-minute replacement. So Sarukian is elite. He's as good as it gets. And he could be a world champion. And so if I wanted to do it according to not marketability, but rather like who deserves it, it would be either Gaethje or Sarukian. Those would be
How
the
often
two
does that
guys.
come into it as opposed to the marketability?
I don't do that, man.
No.
That's the thing. It's like I'm not involved. I would not be the right guy for the business.
Yeah.
Because like I'm kind of a purist. I feel like if you're the number one contender, you get the shot. Like
Yeah.
that's how I feel. But I also don't know if I agree who the number one contender is all the time. I think like that should be up for debate. Like it's very subjective. Like who decides like what victories count for more,
Yeah.
or who would be more compelling to fight for the title, who deserves it. Like some guys have to fight a ton of guys, and then other guys like Pereira, he got a shot at Adesanya like just a few fights in.
Yeah. But this is what then kills. This hurts boxing is when like you have a champ who just repeatedly takes on people that they can walkover to extend
There's a little bit of
the
that.
victory. But because the UFC is all
Yeah.
it's one thing,
The UFC makes you fight the big fights. And if you don't want to fight the big fights, like John Jones didn't want to fight Tom Aspinall, like then
they
you
can
know.
strip it.
Well, he didn't strip him. John just retired. But I think
Yeah.
John just decided to retire legitimately. I think he's partying a lot. He had a long career, and he's the greatest of all time. Like at a certain point in time, you have to say enough. And
Yeah.
at 37, as the heavyweight champion, retiring undefeated, that's probably a good move. He's got one loss, but it's a bullshit.
Have you seen those late
disqualification.
Muhammad Ali interviews where he's going back